What's up, guys? Just Josh here. Hopefully you guys are doing well during these troubling times. But welcome back to Album Ranking, the most viewed series on this channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at Trivium's discography and ranking all 9 of their albums from worst to best. And this will be including their newest album, What the Dead Men Say. I have heard it early, and you guys will see where I stand on that album in just a bit. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. And at number 9 we have Trivium's 7th album, Silence in the Snow, released in 2015. Just to get this out of the way, even though this is at the bottom of the list, I don't think this is a bad album. In fact, I like all of Trivium albums. I don't think they have a bad album. They're a great band. I did just start listening to them in March, so maybe as time goes on and these albums grow on me a bit more, I'll have to update my ranking like I did with Machine Head, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, Silence in the Snow is Trivium's only album to not feature harsh vocals from vocalist Heafy, because I believe he blew out his voice shortly before the album was made, so he couldn't scream for the album. It was due to an improper screaming technique he was pushing from the throat, which is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, use your diaphragm, your chest, all that kinds of stuff. It still comes out of your throat, but it shouldn't have any pressure on your throat. So anyways, not a vocal coach, I'm just saying. But anyways, this album is their weakest album for me because it just lacks the signature Trivium heaviness, that heavy verse and melodic chorus. So this album takes more of a, I wouldn't want to say Metallica approach, but could be compared to the Black Album in the fact that it's their most stripped back album. There is still some metalcore elements in there, there's still some breakdowns, some heavy chugging riffs, but for me it's their weakest album because it just lacks the, that signature Trivium heaviness with Matt's, screaming vocals. So for me it's just their weakest album because of that. It just lacks the light dark contrasts that make Trivium such a great band. But some good songs on this album are Silence in the Snow, Blind Leading the Blind, Dead and Gone, Pull Me from the Void, Until the World Goes Cold, and Rise Above the Tides. There's a few other ones that are good in there too, but those are my favorites. And at number 8 we have 2013's Vengeance Falls, Trivium's 6th album. And yeah, this is a weird one. It kind of feels a bit uninspired, and David Draymond from Disturbed produced the album, which is an odd choice. I don't think he's ever produced an album before this, and this might even be his only album that he's ever produced. I don't know if he produces the Disturbed albums. He probably does. But anyways, this isn't about Disturbed. So yeah, his influence on this album is kind of strong in a few parts, especially the song To Believe. That sounds a lot like a Disturbed song, and Matt kind of tries to sing like David Draymond in that song. At least that's what I hear. I don't know if that was the intention, but yeah, you can definitely hear David Draymond's influence on this album. But it is a pretty thrashy album. It is, their signature sound, the thrash / melodic metalcore sound. But anyway, some good songs on this album are Brave the Storm, Vengeance Falls, Strife, At the End of This War, Villainy Thrives, Wake the End is Nigh, and the bonus track As I Am Exploding is pretty cool too. And at number 7 we have In Waves. This might be a low ranking for some Trivium fans because I know that this album is pretty favored amongst the Trivium fan base, and I like it too, but I just don't think that it's as strong as the other albums that we are about to get into. But this album, once again, very thrashy, and it's actually the first Trivium album to include blast beats on the songs Inception of the End, Forsake Not the Dream, Chaos Reigns, and Shattering the Skies Above, which is amazing because I love blast beats. I have not met a single person that doesn't love blast beats. They're just amazing. Nick Augusto does a great job with the drums on this album, and I believe that it's their first album to feature him as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so my favorite songs on this album are In Waves, Inception of the End, Dust Dismantled, Watch the World Burn, the Skyline Severance, Caustic Are the Ties That Bind, and the bonus track, Shattering the Skies Above. And at number 6, we have Trivium's 8th album, 2017's The Sin and The Sentence. This is considered as a return to form. After 2015's Silence in the Snow, Matt got his harsh voice back, and this album is very, very heavy because of it. And they got a new drummer, Alex Bent, for this album, and he is an absolute monster. He does furious blasting all over this album, thrashy drum beats. I would definitely say that Alex Bent is Trivium's best drummer so far. Hopefully they stick with him, because I know that they've had sort of a rocky history with drummers in the past. But anyways, this is definitely a very, very heavy album, and I'm going to get into my favorite tracks here. The title track, Beyond Oblivion, The Heart From Your Hate, Betrayer, Wretchedness Inside, Beauty in the Sorrow, The Revanchist, and also the re-recording of Pillars of Serpents is very, very awesome, and the bonus track, Drowning in the Sound, is great as well. And at number 5, we have Trivium's upcoming 9th album, What the Dead Men Say, releasing this Friday, April 24th, 2020. Now you might be asking, how have you heard this album yet? It doesn't come out until Friday. It actually leaked on kingdomleaks.com yesterday. I will leave a link down in the description below if you guys want to hear it early. But I please advise you, if you do listen to the leak, please either pre-order the CD like I did, buy the album digitally on iTunes or Google Play, whatever platform you use, or buy merch. Please don't stream. Streaming makes absolutely nothing for most bands. Pocket change, really. You make like 1/10 of a cent on every stream. 1 million streams is about $1,000. The label gets some of that. I think Spotify gets some of that, and then you have to split it up between the bandmates. They really make nothing at the end of the day from Spotify. It really fucks over artists. Please either buy What the Dead Men Say, pre-order it, buy any of their other albums, or buy merch. Because, you know, these bands are not making money from touring, obviously, because they can't tour right now because of this whole COVID-19 thing going on. So with that out of the way, this album is amazing. It really is the encapsulation, the culmination of everything Trivium has done in their now 20-plus year career, which is pretty insane to think that this band has been around since 1999. Matt Heafy was just 13 when he joined the band in 1999. That's crazy. But anyways, like I said, this album really combines all of their discography. It has that youthful energy and unbridled rage and aggression of Ember to Inferno and Ascendancy. It also has the thrash of The Crusade. It's got the adventurous and complex song structures of Shogun. And it has the soaring melody that they would be known for later in their career. It's really combines all of their albums into one. Now, the reason it's, you know, in the middle of their discography for me is that I wish it could just be a bit longer. At 4 minutes and 27 seconds, it leaves me wanting more. But, you know, I'd rather have a awesome album that's short than a long album with a few awesome songs and then a bunch of fillers. So I can't really complain too much. I like every song on this album, but my favorites are the title track, Catastrophist, Amongst the Shadows and the Stones, Bleed Into Me, and Sickness Unto You. And Scattering the Ashes is pretty good too, but those are my top favorites. And at number 4, we have Trivium's debut album, Ember to Inferno, released in 2003. This is a very aggressive album, arguably Trivium's angriest and most aggressive album. And it's definitely very thrashy, very aggressive, just the sign of a new band that is hungry to take over the world. It just pulls you right in and just grabs your attention, man. So my favorite tracks on this album are Pillars of Serpents, If I Could Collapse the Masses. I don't know how to pronounce that. Fugazi, I don't fucking know. But in parentheses, a revelation. So. But yeah, that's a great song. Requiem is also good. The title track is great. To Burn the Eyes, the masterpiece of this album for sure. And My Hatred is really good too. Just every song on this album is great. It's a very enjoyable listening experience overall. And it's my 4th favorite Trivium album. And at number 3 we have Trivium's 4th album, Shogun, released in 2008. This is considered by many Trivium fans to be their magnum opus. I don't quite agree. It's a great album, but not quite their best for me, but it is definitely, I would say it's definitely their most ambitious album to date. It combines everything they were doing at the time with Matt Heafy's James Hetfield-esque vocals and the thrash of the Crusade, and also Matt brings back his screaming vocals on this album. There were a little bit here and there on the Crusade, but he definitely brings it back to the forefront on this album. And it just combines Ascendancy, Ember to Inferno, the Crusade into one big ambitious album. And it's a great album. My favorite songs are Kirisute Gomen, Torn Between Cicala and Cheridibus, I don't know. Torn Between Death and Doom, he says in the song, so I don't know how to pronounce that. Down From the Sky is good, Throes of Perdition is good, Insurrection is good, Calamity's good, the title track is great. I really love the title track, and the bonus track, Upon the Shores, is awesome as well. But yeah, top-notch album overall, my 3rd favorite. And at number 2 we have Trivium's 2nd album, released in 2005, Ascendancy. This is a very, very thrashing and very heavy album, and Matt Heafy just sounds fucking pissed off at the world on this album. It's absolutely amazing. My favorite tracks are Rain, Pull a Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr, Drowned and Torn Asunder, the title track, A Gunshot to the Head of Trepidation, Like Light to Flies, Dying in Your Arms, Suffocating Sight, and Departure. So pretty much every song on this album is great. Not many complaints at all. Very, very good stuff here. And at number 1, my favorite Trivium album is 2006's The Crusade, their 3rd album. Now, if you're a Trivium diehard, you're probably wiping your eyes and going, "What?" in disbelief right now, but your eyes do not deceive you. The Crusade is my favorite Trivium album, and yeah, this album did get a lot of shit from Trivium fans for being a bit too much like Metallica, but honestly, aside from Matt's, false chord type vocals that really are very reminiscent of James Hetfield, Justice era, James Hetfield specifically, I really don't hear that much Metallica influence on this album, aside from the vocals. The instrumentation is, your standard thrash metal album, and I'm just a sucker for all that thrash metal shit, man. I fucking love thrash metal. It's my favorite metal genre. So yeah, like I said, very thrashy drumming on this album. Lots of great riffs, lots of great melodies, great choruses. Just a very catchy and memorable album overall. And not many people will agree with me here on this. I know that this is a pretty controversial album within the Trivium fan base, but it's definitely my favorite, the one that I listen to and enjoy the most. So my favorite tracks are Ignition, Entrance of the Conflagration, Unrepentant, and Sadness Will Sear, To the Rats, This World Can't Tear Us Apart, Tread the Floods, and the title track. And the bonus tracks, Broken One and Vengeance, are pretty good too. Overall, just a very enjoyable album for me, man. Lots of great drumming, lots of great riffs, lots of catchy, memorable choruses. I just love this album. Like I said, it's the one that I enjoy and listen to the most out of Trivium's whole discography. But that's just my opinion. Please let me know what your ranking is of Trivium's albums down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give a like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I have tons of album ranking videos. I just did a Whitechapel one just a few weeks ago. I also did a Slipknot, Korn, Metallica, Machine Head ranking as well. I do plan on putting out more album rankings for you guys in the future. I have Killswitch Engage planned. I have Stained planned as well. And many more things to come. So please subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, and peace out.